Hello. Today we'll work with Java Basic, uh, and then we're not going to use the IDE but only text editor, which is called TextPad. So from the TextPad editor itself, we can also compile and run our Java application. So we'll use this one as a beginner editor for Java, so that will not rely on the IntelliSense of the IDE, such as the IntelliJ and Eclipse auto-completion. So you can download this editor and then set it up, and then you'll have this basic editor itself. So let's start with creating our first program. So public class app. Okay, let's save this one first to our specific folder. From here, I just already have a workspace folder, and saving the file as a Java file. So for starter, the name of the file should be the same as the name of the class. So here we save our file as app, and on the left side you'll see it's called app.java. So it's a basic requirement for Java that the name of the file should be the same as the name of the class itself. So for now, just follow the format for creating our first program. Later, we're going to explain all of these keywords. So then the public static void main is, you called it as the entry point of the Java application. So all Java application has a method called public static main. So when you run your program, this is the first method that Java will look for. And then the parameter itself, which is string. If you're still not familiar with this one, the open close bracket, it's an array. And since the main method accepts parameter or argument, again, don't mind this one for now. Just think about it that this is the entry point of your program. So public static void main. So for starter, if you want to display text to the console in Java, you need to type system.out.println. And then all text should be inside the double quotation mark. All Java statement ends with a semicolon. So example, here, hello Java. Okay, so we save this one, and then with this editor to run this program, you go to Tool, then Compile Java. Then you'll notice here on the console, the output here, if your application compiled successfully or not. So if there's something wrong with your program, when you do tool compile, you'll be able to see here the issue on the console. So here, one error. So package is theme does not exist. So we'll just this need to be corrected. Okay, tool compile, and then tool run Java application. Then you'll be able to see the result here. So hello Java. Then you just need to press any key to continue or to go back to your editor. So that's how to run a simple program in TextPad. Okay, so there are two variations of printing the text to the console. The first one is print line, wherein when you say print line, you print the text and then the next line. So the cursor will go to the next line. And the other one is print, wherein it will display the text itself and the cursor will be on the same line. So if we try this one, okay, you'll notice that the press any key to continue is on the same line as the text itself. Wherein the print line, you compile and then run, you'll notice that the print any key is on the next line. Okay. So in programming, there is such thing as what we call as variable. Variable are used for storing data. So it's also the same in Java. So there are different data type that we could use in Java. So let's try to work on the data type. So let's start with string. So string allow us to keep a string type for our data type. So example, let's have this string name name. So to use that variable, you could say name entered. Okay, so name. Take note to in this case we're appending to string using the plus symbol. So what will happen here is when we compile and run this program, okay, so name entered is Tony, since the value of this name variable is Tony. So if we change this one to say John, and then compile again, and then run, you'll notice that the text shown here is now John. Let's make this the font itself bigger so that I will be able to see it clear. Okay. Okay, so that's how to work with string data type. So next one, take note that with variable, you can declare it anywhere on your code before you could use it. So next one is, say example, the age. So there's a type called integer. It's a data type which allow us to store a value without decimal place. Take note that here we have int in lowercase. This is what you call in Java as primitive type. So there are two types in Java, which is the object type. You could also use the integer, say this one, say age 10, or this one, age 10. So this is a object type, data type, and this is a primitive type. So these two are different on how Java store the value that you assign to it, and then from where the value is stored in memory. So don't concern yourself for now about this one. For now, we'll just use the primitive type. So int age equals to 10. So we could say hi name, then again plus your age is, okay, then age. Okay, compile and then run. Okay, hi John, your age is 10. Okay, so that is the integer primitive type. Now there is also another type, which is what you called as float. Float allow us to store data with decimal place. So float say allowance equals to say 150. Okay, or you could use the other type, which is double. So what is the difference between the two? The difference is the range of value. Okay, so for now we'll just use the float type. Then here we could say let's put this one example to 16 with allowance of allowance. Save it, then compile. Okay, so here it's saying possible loss from double to float. Because with float here, it requires, if you declare and assign a value in it, it requires a prefix f. Okay, so that's why this error is showing. But if you change it to a double type, this one won't appear at all. So it's either way, it's either you use the float or double. So let's just use double for now, so that because you might be thinking that every time you assign a value to a float, you need to put f. No, only in this case when you declare and assign a value, initialize the variable at the same time. Okay, double allowance. Okay, compile. Okay, successful, and then run. All right, so John, your age is 16 with allowance of 100.5. Okay, so with this knowledge of able to uh, print string to the console, and then your knowledge on the variable data type string int and double for now, let's start creating a program that accept value from the user. Okay, so instead of declaring a variable here and then assigning directly the value, let's ask the value as an input from the user. So in order for us to do that, we need to use a library in Java called scanner. So scanner scan equals to new scanner and system.in. Okay, so this syntax specified that we're going to use a scanner, which is a library in Java that allow us to accept value from the user. And then we're saying it's a system in, means from the input itself. But before you could use this library, you need to use the import statement in Java, which is import Java util and scanner. Okay, so tool compile, okay, successful, and then tool run. For now, it does nothing because we just declared it. Okay, so let's go back here and try to accept the name from the input itself. So system.out.print. This one is just a prompt of enter name, so that at least the user has a prompt to see on the console. And then to use the scanner, so string name, this is how we declare the a variable called name. And then you use the scan, then the method next. So scan has different method for accepting value. In this case, we're just accepting a type string, so we need to use the next method of scan. Okay, so then again, we'll just output, say your name is name. There. So compile and then run. All right, so if you notice, the cursor is behind on the side of the enter name prompt, since we use the print only and not print line. So from here, we could input, say, Tony. There. And when we press enter, the second text, your name is appear, Tony. Okay. So again, if you notice, when we run our program, the cursor is here and waiting for input because of this scan next statement. So it wait for that one. So say John, press enter, so your name is John. So that's how to ask a value from the user. Okay. So with this knowledge, we could also create a simple program that accept two value and then display the result. So in this case, we could say with the prompt, enter first value and then int first num, scan the next int. Now if you notice, here we're not using the next, we're using next int. The next int method of scanner allow us to accept integer value, and whatever the value entered will be assigned to the variable first num. Okay, so we'll just replicate the prompt again, but this time instead of first value, second value, and then second number, scan that next int. Now we have two values, which is assigned to first num and second num. Then we want to display the total. So how do we do that? So we can declare another variable called total, wherein we add the first num plus second num. Okay, so the value of the total is now whatever you entered on the first num and the second num. And then we can just display the total. Total is total. Okay, let's run this one. Enter enter first number, say 10. Enter second number is 5. So the total is 15. All right. Now, take note that since we're just assuming that the value entered will always be correct, we're not handling yet the error or the exception. So if we try entering a different type, such as example, instead of number, we type in Tony, you'll notice that it will throw an exception. So this one needs to be handled in your program. But for now, let's just assume that the correct data type will always be entered by the user. Okay. Now, if you notice that we're just accepting an integer value, if you want to accept another data type, say value which do have a decimal, say let's use double, so it's next double. So here also next double, and the data type will be double. Of course, you need to change all the data type for both variable, first num and second num, and also the total data type. Okay, so again, compile, and then run. So with this, we're now able to accept value with an integer, a value with a decimal, sorry. Okay. Of course, since we have a mathematical operation here, which is addition, we can also do the same with the other operation, such as say difference. As example, first num minus second num, and then let's just copy this one, Control C, Control V, and say difference is, but this time the variable where we stored the difference is called def. Then we can also say the product, which is first num times second num, and then here product is okay, same also with division, which is the quotient. Second num. Quotient is quotient. All right, so let's try compile. Just make sure that there's no error before running our program. Okay, say 10, and then the second value is 5. So total is 15, difference is 5, product is 15, quotient is 2. Right, so that is with the mathematical operation plus divide, multiply, and the division. Then we also have what we call the remainder or mode operator, which is in this case using the percent symbol. So the mode operator allow us to get the remainder. Say example, 3 divided by 2, so the remainder is 1. Okay, so something like that. So again, we can use the system that out the print line and then just display the remainder. Okay, compile and then run. So example 10 and 4. Right, so the remainder of 10 divided by 4 is 2. So let's move on to the next topic, which is using conditional operator. So with this, we use the if statement. So let's go to our example. So for using the if statement, we need the if keyword, then the condition, and then for multiple statements. So basically, we use the open close brace. Here we need a conditional statement which will return true or false. Okay, so example, we have two values, A, which is 10, then B, which is 5. Then we wanted to know, we want to display if A is greater than B. Let's display the statement A is greater than B. So the conditional statement here is A greater than B? So always ask yourself, the conditional statement should be in question form, wherein in this case we say, is A greater than B? So with this, we display A is greater than B. So let's compile and then run. Okay, so you're able to see this statement, A is greater than B, because our statement here is true. So what if this value is 15? What will be displayed? So let's compile this one. And then run. Okay. So nothing appeared. Only this, the press any key to continue, which is a default message for TextPad. So what happened is this question, which is A is greater than B, is false because our value for A is 10 and B is 15, which renders this statement as false. So what happened? Whatever is inside this bracket won't be executed and it will go to this line, which in this case has nothing in it. So that's why we have this result. So if you wanted to display something like B is greater than A, you can use another if statement. Say example this one, B is greater than A, and then display this one, B is greater than A. Of course, since our value here 15 is greater than 10, so this statement result to true. So let's compile this. Okay, then run. Okay, so we are seeing here the statement B is greater than A. But then there's a shorter way to do this. So instead of checking again the condition, because when this is false, this will be true. So we could use the if-else statement. So in this case, we'll just use if, else. So if this is true, do this. If this is false, do the else. Okay. So again, let's compile and then run. Okay, so B is greater than A. Okay, so this is on a conditional statement. So another example, what if we want to check if dividing the value has a remainder? So say example, A is 10 and B is 4. Then we can check if A has a remainder which is equal to 1. Okay, let's check. Is 10 divided by 4, so the remainder will be 2, right? So this one will become false. Okay, so what will happen? It will fall through the else. Or you could check it here already. If A remainder B equals to 2, you can display whatever you want here. Say after division, say example, we have a remainder. Else, say we could say without remainder. Okay, so here compile and then run. So after division, we have a remainder. So this is the output of this operation, since this one is true. So let's try now a simple problem where we want to check if the value entered is an odd or even. So let's do this here. Print line odd or even value, say evaluation. So then value scan.next int. So we need the condition here. If value mode 2 means it can be divided by 2, which the result will be 0. So mean that is an even value. So we could say here value entered is even. Okay, then of course on the else part, since this condition becomes false, so we can put it here, value entered is odd. Right. So let's compile and then run the program. Okay, so it's waiting for us to enter values. Say we put in 8. So value entered is even. So let's run again. So let's enter 11. So the value entered is odd. So based on our condition here, we executed a different statement. In this case, if it's an even number, we execute this one. Else, if it is an odd value, we execute this one based on this condition. So that's how if else works.